All right. Well, let's start with why don't you tell me about your history so far with football?
Okay. Well, my family's originally from Pittsburgh. We're from right outside the Pittsburgh area. Um, Football's always been a big part of my family. My uncle played at Cincinnati whenever I was younger, about two. My other uncle played at Morehead State. So basically it was kind of set in stone that football was going to be the path that I was going to, go along with. So, I played football in the D.C. area at St. Vincent Pallotti for high school. Played for varsity for 4 years. Played numerous positions between middle linebacker, defensive line. And I played a little bit of offense, but always in defensive character. So, that ended up carrying me over from high school. I had an awesome high school career. I'm about, I think, seventh all time for tackles, school history for St. Vincent Pallotti, and that's with over 300 career tackles. And I'm number 18 on the list for career sacks. So I had a solid high school career. And, so from high school, I was young out of high school. I was 17 years old. I wasn't ready to go into college. So from high school, after I graduated in 2010, I went to North Carolina Tech to prep school and ended up playing there. And, I had a solid season there. I met a lot of guys such as I call him Soup, Keon Wallace from Johnson C. Smith. He played quarterback. We went there together. My good friend Farrington Hugan, who plays at Kentucky. So I got a chance to play at prep school at North Carolina Tech with great competition, and that ended up helping me, up my game so that I was able to make my college decision. Out of prep school, I went to Bowie State, and I played defensive tackle there. Bowie State was an awesome experience. I enjoyed it. Coach Daniel Wilson brought me in and made me feel like family. And I played it my freshman year there. Then I had some, family issues and whatnot. My father got sick. So, it was just best. It was the best for me as a player and as a student and athlete to go down and try to transfer away to another school and really just spread my wings and try to get to another college and experience another type of culture. So I then transferred down to Brevard College my sophomore year. And, I came down here and I did what I had to do. I enjoyed it. I loved it down here. I played in a different system. I feel like I definitely needed to be down here simply due to the fact that it opened me up as a defensive player and as a defensive lineman. I'm more versatile. I run a whole lot better, et cetera, et cetera. So, I ended my chapter here collegiately at Brevard this past fall. It was an awesome experience. I got to play with a great middle linebacker who, is known throughout the Division II, Michael Gruber, so, we definitely were a great 1-2 defensively. So, that's my college career, in a nutshell, just about.
Very nice. What would you say stands out as your proudest moment in your career?
My proudest moment in the career. Oh, man. Well, is it collegiate? Actually, collegiately or just period?
Either one. What stands out in your head as a standout moment? What made you feel the most pride inside you?
Man. I say, there's two, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
The proudest moment in my career, wow, it's so much happened, but I feel like the proudest moment in my career would definitely be my freshman year when I was at Bowie State. We're playing Livingstone College for homecoming, and it was my first go around, and it was my first time getting to a college football game, and the quarterback dropped back and he threw the cornerback he was throwing a pass that was intended for the receiver. It was picked up by a cornerback, Walker, and I remember just running like 30 yards out and blindsiding the wide receiver I was coming to tackle, Walker. The Walker ended up returning that interception like 50 yards, almost scored. But that right there, with everybody just all on the sideline, the crowd going crazy, that right there was like, yeah, I'm definitely made for playing football. That right there made me feel at home. So that was definitely one of my proudest moments collegiately by far.
So you would say the crowd definitely helps pump you up before a game?
Yeah, for sure. Crowd and my teammates, just the atmosphere, yes.
You mentioned you had two moments. What was the second one?
The second moment was I was younger, my 8th grade year of football. I played for the Lower Boys and Girls Club, and it was a championship game. And it was a championship game. We were beating the Upper Marlboro Mustangs 14-0. I don't know how to get the ball. Matter of fact, yeah, it was the beginning of the half. Second half, we're getting the ball. The onside kicked the ball. Every year, whenever we got an onside kick, anybody who ever went to go touch the ball, they always ended up fumbling the ball or letting it bounce over them. So, I was a little shorter when I was young. I was probably like 5'4", 5'5", in 8th grade. And they kicked the ball, onside kick, and I don't know how. I don't even know I had that much athleticism, but I ended up grabbing the ball with my fingertips, and I just ended up falling down, curling. And, that play right there helped us out, and we ended up winning the game and was able to control the ball the rest of that game. We won a championship. So that was definitely one of the biggest moments in my football career.
That does sound like a lot of fun and a really good game, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, going into the draft, is there a specific team that you feel would benefit most from your talent?
That's an awesome question. Well, I feel it's a specific team, I feel like I could play anywhere, being that I played in the four front at Bowie State, and I played in the 3 front here at Brevard. Any system, I'll probably say like the Green Bay Packers, just because like I see what B.J. Raji did there, it does there. He was hurt this year, but I see what he can do there at the nose guard position, and like the Patriots for Vince Wilfork. Any system that wants that nose guard that can take on a double team, and can dominate up front and open up holes for his linebackers to get off and get tackles and straight, then I'm their guy. I'm a system first type of guy. I've never been a selfish type of player. So any system where they're just looking for a nose guard that's going to get down and dirty and open up holes and take down double teams for the middle linebackers or the linebackers in general, I'm that guy.
Definitely sounds like it. Do you have a favorite team that you want to shout out?
My favorite team always. I'm a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so I'm Pittsburgh Steelers by far.
Very nice, very nice. I'm an Eagles fan myself, but same state, so we can get along there. What would your fellow teammates say about you off the field in terms of your personality?
Off the field, well, it depends on who we're talking to, but if we're talking about like my close friends, I don't necessarily just hang out with defensive guys. I try to mix things up and hang out with a lot of people, but any of my friends, if you want to talk to Larry Candles, a defensive end that plays with me, or, Rodney Garrett, who's an offensive guard here, just about anybody, they'll tell you, I'm a serious guy off the field. Well, on the field, I'm a serious guy. Off the field, I'm like the complete opposite. I prioritize, the life's all about enjoying yourself, so, I'm a goofball, I get a drive off of everybody else, enjoying themselves and smiling and having fun. That's my main thing, so they can say I'm a jokester, but I'm real alert too, also. But if they're talking about all in all, I'm majority of times I'm on joke time, as long as everything's taken care of.
Now, with the draft coming up, if you had any message to tell the talent scouts, what would you tell them about yourself?
Ultimately, I'm telling the talent scouts that, if you guys should definitely, give me a look, and just come and look at me, or give me an opportunity, because I'm the type of guy that's going to come in and is going to work for everything he gets. I come from a family of hard workers. My father juggled numerous jobs. My mom, she went from school to work to taking care of me and my siblings, so it's set in stone. Hard work, is going to lead you to success. I'm coming into work every day with a hard hat in my lunch bell, ready to go into work, and I'm not clocking out until everybody else leaves, so I'm definitely a hard worker. I feel like you just give me an opportunity. That's all I ask for, that's all I can say.
Now, there is a lot of good defensive tackle talent out there. What makes you stand out?
Yes, there is. There's awesome defensive tackle talent in this draft class. I say what makes me stand out. I hear from a lot of people I'm versatile as far as like for me to play nose guard and interior defensive tackle. I run a whole lot more than other guys. I'm the type of guy. First off, I'm gonna penetrate up front. I'm gonna hold down my double teams as everybody in this class does. But I feel like you're not going to see any defensive tackle in this class that's going to run 20 yards or 30, however many yards upfield, where DB should be pursuing to go and get a tackle, or to go strip a guy. That's one thing that I learned here at Brevard College was hustle. That my head coach, Paul Hamilton, he didn't care how far the guy was up the field, get up there. I don't care if he's about to get tackled because anything can happen. He can be stripped, et cetera, et cetera. So I hold it down up front, as far as double teams and everything go, and I take care of all of my defensive players, and I'm a hustler. That's one thing. I'm strong and I'm a hustler. I'm nimble. I have quick feet. The list goes on. But I feel like what really makes me stand out compared to a lot of other defensive tackles in this draft class is just my ultimate hustle.
Nice. I like it. Can you tell me what your passions are besides playing football?
Passion is one more time, please. Sorry.
Your passions aside from football. What else do you enjoy to do?
My passions aside from football. Well, right now I'm wrapping up my senior semester here at Brevard, and I'm interning at the Boys and Girls Club. So a lot of times, I love working with kids, who are sometimes don't have that opportunity, underprivileged. Like I said, my family's from the outskirts of Pittsburgh, and my family members live in the New Kensington area. That's, it's unfortunate it's a ran down area, so my main thing is I like enrichment. I like to, open up kids' eyes to the fact that there's more outside of this bubble where they are. So right now the Boys and Girls Club, I'm doing a lot of sports enrichment and everything, and also educational enrichment, because I always want people to be better than what I was, so I went to college, I'm telling the kids that I want them to go to beyond undergrad. I want you to go and get your doctorate, like my main thing is I just like to uplift children, and just give back to the community.
That's very, very admirable. I like that a lot. You're welcome. What are your expectations going into the draft?
Expectations going into the draft. Well, I spoke to, a few agents and everything like that, and I spoke to, and I heard a lot of things from other people. My expectations, I don't foresee myself getting drafted, but I mean, if I go in as an undrafted guy to camp, from there, that's all I need. I've always been a hard worker, and sometimes, I haven't necessarily felt where I think I should fall, but my expectations are just, I'm not expecting any. I'm expecting to possibly get into camp, but I'm just whatever comes, that's really all I got to say.
That's a really good attitude to have. I mean, it sounds definitely like you're heading in the right direction, and the sky is going to be the limit for you when it's your time. Now,
yes.
Just for fun, do you have a prediction for Sunday's game?
Oh man, it's tough, because you see the Patriots, and then I don't know. I'm split, but all in all, Darrell Reeves is there. Darrell Reeves played at Pittsburgh. I'm a Pittsburgh guy. I got to go with the New England Patriots. Yeah, New England Patriots, for sure.
All right, that was a just for fun question there. And just to finish it off, if you were interviewing yourself, what's one question you would want to ask yourself?
What's one question I would want to ask myself? I don't. That's a great question.
Thank you.
I feel like there's so many questions I would ask myself, but one question I would ask myself is, why come, why go to school all the way out here? You know, that's my first. That would be one question that will branch off. Why not come to school all the way out here? And like you said, like what you asked me before, what makes me better than this guy and the defensive line draft class. So it's just a two-part, to really try to pick my brain and see what I'm thinking.
Mhm. And how would you answer that if you were asked?
How would I answer that?
If you went to school, why did you go to school all the way out there?
Why did I go? Well, I always wanted to experience new places. That's what I'm going to tell them first off, and then I always want to experience new places. And from the get-go, I always wanted to be independent, and I always wanted to just, of course, my parents helped me out with my tuition and everything like that. But, just getting away from home and experiencing a new culture, like I said, I'm fascinated by, learning new things. One thing, it's kind of off topic, but one thing that I like whenever I go to a new place, a new city, new state, et cetera, I love to hear their slang or their way of saying certain things. Like, I'm from Pittsburgh, so they say guns. D.C. and Maryland, we don't necessarily have slang, but, so I love hearing the way people go about saying certain things. But what made me choose Brevard College was just the atmosphere, and this sincereness that the head coach had, whenever my father was in the hospital. That right there, that sold me, because every recruiting visit I went on, the coaches, they asked about how my father was doing, et cetera, whenever he was in the hospital. But none of them really checked up on me day by day, like how Coach Jefferson did at Brevard, and that's my defensive line coach. And my other question I asked as far as the defensive lineman, you already asked me that in regards to, I said, what makes you stand out amongst the other defensive linemen in this draft class? What I feel like would be my hustle, my ability to hold down double teams, and then my stoutness. That's one thing that's always helped me out a whole lot.